Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. All started in go-karts. And behind them was a family willing to spend tens of thousands just to help them race. But I bought these two go-karts for just 250 quid each. And today we've only got 3 hours to get them running faster and turn them into proper race carts. And then we're going to bring my family and friends around and put them through some small challenges and prove that you don't need to spend thousands just to have a bit of crack with your friends. But the problem we have now is these carts are old, completely untested and potentially not that safe. So can 500 quid buy us a whole family day out of motorsport? Well, let's find out. Now, first things first, we don't actually know how healthy that these engines are. They haven't been started in around 3 years. So that could actually be very, very good or potentially detrimental. So the first plan of attack is to actually get these engines up and running. Our first stop though is somewhere where you guys will definitely not be expecting. And no, we haven't taken a wrong turn. This will all make sense in a minute. While we're heading there, this is probably a great time to tell you a little bit about the engines powering these karts. These are Briggs & Stratton World Formula engines. They're 204cc, 4-stroke single-cylinder engines, and they rev all the way to 7,100 RPM. And depending on the setup, they can produce up to around a whopping 14 brake horsepower, which may not sound like a massive amount until you remember how small and light these karts actually are. But here's the part I definitely wasn't expecting. These engines originally come from the same world as lawnmower engines, which is why our first stop is a lawnmower repair centre. And they're actually going to do something pretty cool with these, and something that I have never done before. Now the easy bits, they're getting replaced. The fuel filter, fuel lines and air filter, but the carburettors are a little bit different. Instead of just blasting them with cleaner and hoping for the best, they're going into something called an ultrasonic cleaner. And honestly, these things are such an underrated bit of kit. Basically, the carburetors are submerged in a cleaning solution and the machine sends really high frequency sound waves through the liquid. Those sound waves create millions of microscopic bubbles which rapidly form and collapse against the surface of the carb. And that tiny little action is actually really powerful. Powerful enough to break away old fuel deposits, varnish, dirt and grime. Even the little tiny internal passages and jets that you just struggle to properly clean by hand. Which is exactly what we need. Because after sitting around for 3 years, there's a very good chance old fuel has dried up inside these and started blocking everything. So hopefully once they've had a proper deep clean, fuel can actually flow through them the way it's supposed to again. And with that done, it's time to head back to the unit, bolt everything back together, and actually see if we can get these karts running. You know what's actually so nice? Being able to work on something that doesn't require putting on a 2-post lift. You literally just need to have 2 people lift the cart up and you can work on it up here. I could get used to this. So I've been doing a little bit of research about these karts and where I bought them from, and I bought them from a place called Nuts Corner. And do you want to know something very, very cool? Lando Norris, George Russell, Alex Albon and Lewis Hamilton all raced there whenever they were little kids. Now they're driving slightly faster machinery now, but it's very cool to know that these karts came from the same place where they started their career. And actually that brings me pretty nicely onto something, because thankfully whenever you're buying a road car, you don't always have to rely on what the previous owner's story was. You can actually check it out with karvertical. With karvertical, you can actually check out the full history before you buy. But we will come back to that because right now I have one job and it is to get these karts running. Now, first up, we've got these old fuel lines. Some of them are okay because they're nice and flexible, but then you have the likes of these, which are extremely hard, and that's not ideal for fuel lines. Now, why hard fuel lines are not that good is because on a cart that vibrates this much, it means they can crack, leak or restrict the fuel supply. So these are our dodgy fuel lines. You can see they're extremely hard, but we have got this lovely new fuel line, nice and flexible and ready for a go. And while I'm sorting out 3 years worth of questionable fuel, this is exactly why I always check a karvertical report when I'm buying a car. It also has a really cool feature where you can see each car's score at a quick glance, so you can immediately get the idea of what you're dealing with. Then you can dig a little bit deeper into things like photos of previous damage, whether it's ever been reported stolen, mileage history and MOT history. Basically everything you'd rather know before handing over your money. But for now we've got the new fuel lines ready, the new fuel cell is on, and I'm just popping in the clean car back into place. You can actually see the internals here, which is pretty cool. Everything's moving freely again after the clean. And when we put the choke on, you can actually see what's happening inside and how it helps the engine get that richer fuel mixture it needs to start. Then it's just a case of putting the accelerator cable back in. It slides into this little guide here, hooks back onto the throttle, and that's basically our fuel system back together.
Buzzing to see if this starts, like buzzing. And I just hope that we're slowly removing all the reasons to not make this thing start.
But it wasn't long until I came across my first problem.
We came across our first issue whenever we were building this back up again. So there wasn't a return on this. Like, this is your accelerator cable. Oh. Well, anyway, there wasn't a return on this because it was all frayed at the bottom, if you can see. That meant when you put the spring in, all that wire there was getting caught on the spring. This is our spare accelerator cable, and you can see it's much more freer and it doesn't get caught in the spring. Wang.
But I'm glad I'm finding these problems now and not when I'm flat out on the throttle and the cable decides to get stuck. We're on the home stretch now though, everything's starting to go back together and we're getting very close to finding out whether this kart actually runs. Meanwhile, I'm worrying about the fuel lines, carbs and potentially getting launched into a tire wall. Aaron's found a dent in the back bumper and apparently that's today's priority.
Are you going to PDR?
Can't do a bit of PDR.
So I'm going to let Aaron crack on with that while I fill her up with oil. It's really handy on these engines. You can literally go to your local shop and pick up some 10W30 garden machinery oil. There's a bung at the top and another one lower down. You take both out and start filling from the top. And once the oil starts to appear at the lower hole, you know you're at the right level. They normally take around 480 mil. Then once that's done, we're dangerously close to finding out if this actually runs.
So if you're buying a used car, I would always want to know as much as possible. And you can get some money off using the code up on screen right now and the link in the description. But now, that's enough sensible car buying advice.
Now on to the fuel pickup. When I first looked at this, it seemed to be completely blocked up with old and dried fuel and a bit of corrosion. So I give it a clean with a flathead screwdriver and some 80 grit sandpaper just to get everything opened back up again. And that's it. Fuel pickup sorted, she's good to go. Meanwhile, Aaron's fixed the dent. Lovely.
From the lawnmower shop, we also picked up a little new fuel filter. So we're going to cut our fuel lines, slot that in, and then we are nearly finished.
And now I am just plumbing everything back together. So let's see if she starts.
We've realistically done everything that we can for this go-kart. So we've changed the fuel lines, we've done the carbs, air filter is on, oil is in, spark plug is back in, and the wheels are on. So there is only one thing left to do, and that's get it started.
And somehow we're already here. I genuinely thought these karts were going to put up a much bigger fight after sitting for 3 years. But before we get too excited though, there are two things an engine absolutely needs. That's fuel and that's spark. So I'm just going to do one final check to make sure we've got both. After 3 years sitting dead, is this little thing actually about to come back to life?
Okay, so this is the moment of truth, right? So we've got the kart outside and we are officially going to try and start it up for the very first time after 3 years. Now, with these engines, they're a little bit tricky to get the fuel up into the carb. So we're going to be pulling on this for quite a wee while now, but we're going to give it a whirl and I really hope this starts because this will be the best day's crack ever.
And you can see we're starting to get fuel coming up through the lines now, which is exactly what we want to see. So that's fuel sorted. Next up, we need to know if we've actually got spark. Plug out, give her a turnover, and yes, we've got spark.
So now, the last thing to do is see if it runs. Oh! It's running! I'm in my go-kart! The brakes wouldn't be too hot, like, but it works!
And even on its first drive, where there are definitely still a few teeth and issues to sort out, this was honestly some of the best crack I've had in ages. But I'm definitely not stopping here, because what I'm about to do to this kart next is probably the bit I'm best at. It's time to make it look the part.
So we've got both karts back into the unit, but we are not going to stop there because if you know me or seen my Instagram or seen even some of the builds on this channel, I struggle to leave something alone. And we're going to do the exact same thing with these karts because they cannot stay standard. Nope.
And probably the biggest part of any race kart has to be the livery. I mean, look at some of the proper race karts out there. You've got factory liveries, you've got Red Bull karts. They're tiny little machines, but people still go absolutely mad with the designs. And because there isn't actually that much bodywork to them, you can completely change the personality of the kart. You can either go full on motorsport with sharp designs and race numbers, or recreate an icon racing livery, or just make something completely ridiculous.
And that's exactly what we're going to do here, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to modify a kart. Now, you would have seen this helmet earlier on in the videos. I got this made to go with the Porsche, but I thought because we were doing karts, I'm going to be using this quite often, why not take inspiration from this helmet and put it onto the kart?
And now we can finally get onto the fun bit. I'm starting by taking the old side pods off because we've got fresh new ones ready to go on. There's literally just 4 10mm bolts holding each one on, so this is probably going to be the quickest job we've ever done so far. Then I'm stripping all of the old livery off with a heat gun and giving every panel a proper clean, because if we're going to completely change how this thing looks, I want to start with a blank canvas. And this is the bit I love, because there's basically no rules. So if you and your family and your friends decide to give this a go, you can modify them exactly to your spec. I've actually got loads of leftover cuts from wrapping the Porsche. So instead of sitting down and designing the whole thing beforehand, we're just going to make it up as we go. I'm starting by wrapping the front bumper white, then using the tape to map out the different shapes and lines before cutting everything by hand. And this is where you can really put your own stamp on a kart. And for those of you that are wondering if I've got an actual plan here, absolutely not. I am fully winging it. But I think I'll just have to go like this. I think I'm just going to have to go like that. And then I'll cut her.
We'll just lay this wee bit on first of all.
Okay, so front bumper is locked in. Now it's time to move on to the top panel. We're keeping the same idea here, wrapping it white first, then completely freehanding the design on top. No template, no measurements, no proper plan, just seeing what it looks like right and building it as we go. Then it's on to the side pods, because these are brand new, and I need to drill the mounting holes first, get them lined up properly, bolt everything back into place, and then do exactly what we did at the front, wrap them, start laying out the graphics, and add all the little finishing touches that pull the whole design together. And this is a bit where it suddenly starts looking like an actual race kart. Just a few hours ago, it was an old 250-pound kart with tired graphics and panels that had seen better days. And now, with a bit of leftover Porsche wrap, some tape, and a lot of winging it, it's completely changed. There's still a couple of little details left to finish, but I think we're finally ready to see what we've made. And after one evening of completely winging it, this is the result. What started as a tired old 250 quid kart has been completely transformed into something that actually looks like it belongs on a racetrack. We took inspiration from the Falcon Porsche, carried the colours and graphics across, and somehow turned a pile of leftover wrap into this. The Falcon kart is officially finished. Now there's only one thing left to do. Send it.
Right folks, the kart is finished. Now it has had a complete transformation and it looks like a brand spanking new kart. And I am just so happy with how this thing has turned out. But looking good is one thing. Now we need to actually find out if this thing drives as well as it looks. Now we could have took this kart around a proper racetrack, but that kind of defeats the purpose of this whole video. I wanted to show you how easy it can be to get one of these old karts, bring it back to life again and have a cheap, fun day out with your mates. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So welcome to our very own homemade Grand Prix. We've built a track, got one kart,
and 6 drivers.
And a series of challenges. Challenge number 1 is the time attack. Nice and simple, same kart, same track, but who gets the fastest lap?
6 people, 1 kart.
And a very, very, very rainy Ireland. Let the games begin.
First up is Connor. He has absolutely no idea what sort of time he needs to beat. He's just going out here to set the benchmark.
Right, Connor, you're up. This is your flying lap. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
And considering how wet the track was, he actually looked pretty tidy. A couple of little moments, plenty of spray, but he kept pointing it in roughly the right direction. Finishing off very stylish through the cones, and across the line. So Connor crossed the line with a time of 29.29 seconds. So that was our first time on the board. Connor has officially set the target. Next up is Reese. And now, unlike Connor, he actually knew what he had to chase. 29.29 is the time to beat. Now, he got a bit of a dodgy start and you can see he has absolutely zero grip, but he is making up time around these corners. But he's still sliding everywhere and basically turning the kart into a drift kart. He even spins out and clips the cone, but somehow manages to gather it back up and gets safely across the line with a time of 29.26 seconds. So that knocks Connor off the top spot, putting Reese up into first. And now it was my turn. Things got off to an absolutely flying start.
3, 2, 1, go!
Because I stalled it. Excellent. Once I actually remembered how to leave the start line though, the lap was going surprisingly well. And for a brief moment, I actually thought I might put in a respectable time. And then I came to the finish line when I completely ran out of talent and ended up in the bushes. Oops. Not exactly the cleanest lap of the day, but I did make it round. Mostly. So that puts me into third and we've got 3 drivers left. Next up was Laura, and I think she actually might have had the smoothest lap of the day. No spins, no cones, no bushes. She kept it nice and clean. Carried her speed well through the wet sections and made the whole thing look far easier than the rest of us had managed. Across the line with a time of 31.59 seconds, and that puts Laura into fourth. Very tidy lap. Well done, Laura. Now we're on to Aaron, and at this point Reese is still sitting at the top with a 29.26. So the question is, can Aaron finally knock him off? He gets away clean, starts putting a decent lap together, and for once this actually looks pretty controlled. He's coming into the final section now, crosses the line, and he does it in 29.12, knocking Reese off the top spot. Jack knows exactly what he has to beat, so no pressure. He gets away clean, and straight away this looks quick. The kart's still moving around on the wet surface, but he's carrying good speed through the corners. This is easily the most important lap now because there's nobody left after him. So it all comes down to this. Jack crosses the line, and now we go to the results. Everybody in a huddle.
Are you ready?
Right, Jack, it's on you.
So, coming in 5th place is Laura with 31 seconds and 59.
Yay! Well done, Laura!
And next is a joint 4th between me and Abby at 30 seconds and 8 milliseconds.
Woo!
In the podium, 3rd is Connor at 29.29. So 2nd place with Reese at 29.26. And 1st place is Aaron at 29.12.
And what a day's crack that we had. Did you not have fun?
Thanks, Abby.
Thank you, Abby Higgins.
So if you enjoyed that type of content, then make sure you give me a like, share and subscribe, because I'm trying to get to 100,000 before the end of the year. I am now like a drowned rat and I need to go home and get a shower, but thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time when we finish this. Bye.